was like any other day. I was out of my mind on barbiturates, trying to con myself into another sunrise, when I had a vision of the gayest thing I'd ever seen. The Olympic Games opening ceremony in France was so gay, Richard Simmons died of chronic homophobia. God rest his womanizing soul. While France was slowly becoming a Muslim nation, they took time out of their busy day of being conquered to make fun of Christians. A wise decision. After their last election, where the progressives almost lost, they started to burn down the city of Paris. Then, the next day, when voting was done, the progressives had won, so they continued to burn down the city of Paris.
I'm losing my mind.
They were drunk on power, like a small child given too many juice boxes before nap time. Anyway, the opening ceremony was the brainchild of Thomas Jolly. He told the press he wanted everyone to be represented. Clearly, his target audience was 3% of the population. And even of that 3%, if you weren't obsessed with RuPaul's Drag Race and chronically on TikTok ranting about your gender pronouns, you were also left out in the cold.
Team LGBTQ, Olympic ceremonies director, who is queer, says he wants everyone to feel represented.
Before the event, mainstream media outlets heralded him as a creative genius, proving yet again how grossly out of touch the media really is with normal people.
Thomas Jolly is masterminding the most complex Olympics opening ceremony of all time.
Like all gay creatives in the modern age, his creativity centers around his sexuality, since that's the core of his very being. How did we get here, you might ask? Well, most people in positions of power mistake being gay for being creative. It's a vicious cycle that's slowly killing Hollywood. Gone are the days of monster talents like Freddie Mercury. Now we just have an army of Leslie Headlands. When the open ceremony was live broadcasted, it alienated the world with a clear and open mockery of the Last Supper. Everyone involved, on the other hand, thought that they were bringing about real change, making some of the greatest content ever perceived. These levels of delusion were once exclusive for drunks and drug addicts. Now the market is cornered by the alphabet mafia. Have you ever noticed that they don't make fun of Islam in such a way? Makes you think. Since anyone who posts a video about this stupid opening ceremony will be copyright struck by NBC, in an effort to control the narrative, I will describe it to you.
The Olympics and the NBC are using DMCA copyright violations to remove videos of the demonic opening ceremony. They are censoring the world from sharing the degeneracy. Make this go viral. The world is waking up to the war on Christianity. God will not be mocked.
The show was like being in the depths of an ether binge and going to a drag bar called Ladies' Night, mistaking it for the latest hotspot for hot, young, thirsty women with 5 o'clock shadows.
Never mind.
It featured a fat lesbian DJ at the center of it all, in the role of Christ, with a BMI of 300%. And if you make fun of her in any way, shape, or form, she would make an attempt to try and sue you. I'm not even joking. Her skin was thinner than Moist Critical after he was outwitted by Sneeko in a game of 4D retarded chess.
Don't understand how it got so muddled. Half of the fucking conversation was hyperbole, and apparently that one was literal. Or it's a very malicious attack on what I'm trying to say, or misunderstanding. I don't know. But I think I'm just gonna call it there.
He's losing his mind. And I'm reaping all the benefits.
The Olympics' Last Supper star threatens to sue her right-wing haters.
The barometer for being right-wing today in America, literally be for common sense and say something remotely rational. Boom, that's it.
Barbara Butcher condemns the vile hatred directed at her.
She is stunning and brave.
What she represents and what she stands for. The performer at the center of the controversies opening ceremony said,
What the f does she stand for? Kids having 3 lunches? Like what? I bet she stands for nothing other than being fat and gay. I'd put money on that. I stand for extra calories in my meal. What a queen. A hero. There was also a drag race show segment where a man with a beard starts dancing in women's pantyhose. There were also kids involved. Why? Because it's drag time story hour, you bigot. The pale horse at the end, riding as nations followed him, was a reference from the biblical end of days. This made Christians squeal in delight. A headless woman was singing in the background as flames pillared outside of a building to drop D rock riffs. Even Daddy Filth felt that the show was a bit much. Christians haven't been this angry since Easter was proclaimed Trans Awareness Day by Weekend at Bernie's this year. Oh, and by the way, Lady Gaga performed, because of course she would. When there's ever something humongously gay going on, she's somehow always in the mix. I knew the tide was shifting when white women on TikTok were also confused by the show and found it to be off-putting. That's when I knew there was trouble in paradise.
I'm still not over the Olympic. I had to go back and watch a few parts. What the f*** are they showing on TV? This has nothing to do with the fucking sports itself. Male on male, female on female. What the f*** kind of propaganda is it?
Melbourne.
I don't want to be living in this world anymore if this is the new normal. What the hell?
Once the backlash really started to hit, the narrative changed from smug pride to leave us alone. We're gay, you bigots.
Opening ceremony choreographer denies Last Supper parody at launch of Paris Games.
That's interesting, because in this article,
Paris Olympics producer says the Last Supper inspired the opening ceremony scene. Many have done it before.
so basically, depending on which outlet you went to, mainstream media hopped in to attempt to, I don't know, do damage control for God only knows what reason.
The Olympics' Last Supper scene demands our attention. What critics of the Olympics opening ceremony are missing.
It always amazes me how progressives who specialize in being offended by all things will have no bones about telling other people when they should and shouldn't be offended. And the fact that she worked in The Orange Man within one paragraph of talking about the Olympics says all I need to know about this. What the hell does he have to do with anything? Of course, the rich, affluent women of The View rushed out in defense of the opening ceremony. Whoopi put on her best pair of rubber Crocs to school the bigots.
Over the weekend, the Olympics kicked off Friday in Paris. Woo! All right. But then there was instant controversy over an opening number featuring drag performers that some people said was a blasphemous take on Da Vinci's painting, The Last Supper. Now, organizers said, we're sorry, but, you know, the guy who actually put it all together said it was from the Feast of the Gods, which is a 17th century Dutch painting of the Greek Olympian gods, you know, the Olympian gods, because it's the Olympics. Okay. And there are many more people in the picture they're talking about here. There's people on the side, you know, and it's like, come on, y'all. It's the Olympics. Stop. They're not trying to do anything except talk about the history. They're showing you the history. There are too many people in the picture for it to be the 12 disciples and then the 7 or 8.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this.
And frankly, if they didn't have a bad take, they'd have no take at all. That's pretty much The View in a nutshell.
Drag queen of the Olympics opening ceremony has no regrets, calls it a photograph of France in 2024.
No, my dude, a photograph of France would be burning cars as people rioted over the idea that conservatives might actually have control of the country for 5 whole seconds. All the fallout over the opening ceremony led to people claiming that one of the dancers had his nuts hanging out, when in all actuality, it was just a rip in his pantyhose. Let's be real here. Those compression tights would cut off circulation to anyone's scrotum. His nuts would have fell off. And it's sad that I have to defend this, a man wearing panties, but you know, it is 2024, you know. A poll taken in America shows overwhelmingly that most people hated the opening ceremony. Another win for diversity, equity, and inclusion. By all metrics, this is completely on brand. Doing something that only makes a fraction of the population happy, while alienating everyone else. Can't be mad, it's what they do. At the end of the day, this was another hot, wet fart in the mouth of Christians. But at least they didn't take it lying down this time. Maybe something will change. Maybe it won't. Maybe we're just 1 year away from more stupid degeneracy. Oh well.